Hi, I'm Bernie Davis. I got certified back in 1975, and there were years I did a lot of diving and years I didn't do very much at all, just like anybody else. I guess I did most of my diving back in my early years. It was just like everyone, it was like new and exciting to me. Most of my diving was done off the mid-Atlantic, the Outer Banks area. But as the years passed, I focused more on my career and family. I basically became a diver of opportunity. If I was on a deployment or vacation to some exotic location, and the opportunity arose to go diving, I took it. Unfortunately, when I entered my senior years, those opportunities became scarce. About 5 years ago, one of my old military buds, Sergeant Major Irvin, called and said, "Hey, Master Chief, what do you say we go to the Keys for a little diving?" I replied, "Sure, why not?" Then he said, "I want to get a few more dives in with you before you hang up your flippers." I jokingly replied, "Hang up my flippers? Anyone can fall off of a boat and sink to the bottom. Getting back on the boat is the challenge. That's why I tip the deckhands well." At that moment, I realized if I had come up with some lame excuse or just simply said no, my diving days probably would have come to an end. So, thank you, Sergeant Major, for making that call and presenting that opportunity. Every year since that call, we met for at least 2 or 3 days of diving, either in the Keys or somewhere nice. The dives you're about to see mark my 49th year of diving. My goal is to make it half a century plus. Upon departure, we start prepping our gear as we begin our journey to the Spiegel Grove. We move through the channel slowly, but that's okay. It's a good time for a little show and tell with other divers. From this position, the seas looked promising. Kerry attempts to convince everyone that he has the best mask in the world. Diane checks the best mask in the world for fit. About halfway out, the seas get a little rough. The whole purpose of a dry suit is to stay dry. The seas are beginning to get a little angry now. We'd received our 10-minute warning, and everyone is prepared for their first dive. The seas may be angry on the surface, but down here, it's calm and peaceful. Kerry and Irv strike a pose behind the flag. This ship, originally painted a dull haze gray, has now been transformed to a beautiful reef, full of color. It's full of passages and compartments to explore. The swim-throughs are a great way to escape the current if it's running strong, and also to move from one side of the wreck to the other. The shapes and colors of the coral always fascinate me. Our dive ends, but the most challenging task, especially in 5 to 6 foot seas, is getting back on the boat. The seas have calmed for our return trip. However, some of us are still feeling the effects of motion sickness. As we enter the channel, I'm feeling content and satisfied, realizing that these 2 dives on the Spiegel Grove marked my 49th year of diving. I can only hope that tomorrow's dives will be as good or better than today. Day 2 and we're on site. However, today we are not alone, most likely because the seas are not as angry as yesterday. On our first dive today, I was following the anchor chain to the capstan when this Goliath grouper emerged from below. The grouper didn't appear to be startled and casually made its way to the bow. After posing for a few close-ups, it decided to head off into the deep. I continued my trek to the capstans, in total awe of the coral growth. Irv and Carrie did a swim-by before we started exploring more of the internal compartments. When we entered this swim-through, we were greeted by this gray angel. Light filters through other openings, giving this swim-through a somewhat eerie feeling. After leaving the swim-through, this dive has come to an end. We passed the bridge while en route to the ascent line. On our second dive, we passed the tech divers decompressing after their one and only dive on this trip. On our descent, we see a resident shark circling the wreck below. Irv pointed out this little creature. A trumpetfish attempts to blend in with the surroundings. We make a final pass across the bridge. our dive has come to an end, and we bid farewell to our friend. We follow the ascent line to our safety stop, and then back on the boat. Including the last 2 days, I've made 12 dives on the Spiegel Grove. As mentioned earlier, these past 2 days mark my 49th year of diving. Next year, I hope to make it a half a century of diving. It may not be on the Spiegel Grove, it may be on a reef, but that's okay. It'll give me more bottom time to savor the accomplishment. With the exception of the surface conditions on the first day, these were 4 great dives to mark my 49th year. With a little luck and a little exercise, maybe next year I can make it half a century plus. That will be determined next year. So, until then.